this presentation will be in English, and I need 1 minute to gaslight myself into not being nervous and into thinking that I'm absolutely okay talking in front of these many people. But first of all, thank you for having me here, and I'm really grateful that you all came. And I'm really grateful for your recommendation on how to structure this presentation, because you recommended me to structure it in a way that I would give advice to myself 5 years into the past, and it didn't work for me. And I thought about doing it in reverse and actually getting advice from me in the past, because I feel like I'm extremely lost right now in what I do, and I thought about actually looking at what I did in the past that actually worked. And the first half of this presentation will be a bit like lyrical and romantic and about past and about being a child, because I think it's really important to look at yourself when you were young and when you were a child and what you thought about and what you dreamed about. And it was really therapeutical, I guess. So this is me on the left. As you can see, I was 6 or 7, and as you can see, I already got my first PhD in computer science. But this is me at 7. And when I was 7, my father bought us our first family computer, and it had Windows XP on it, and it was completely empty. But the only thing that it got pre-installed was, for some reason, GTA 2, which was my first introduction to gaming. But we didn't have internet at this point, so my father, he bought like a ton of CD discs with a lot of software. He was really interested in what this computer can do. And so one of these CD discs was Cubase. If somebody here knows what Cubase is, raise your hand. Nobody knows. Okay, somebody knows. So this is a DAW, or a digital audio workstation, and this is a software which you use for writing music and recording music. And I was like, what the hell? Like, my father, he's not a musician. He has no musical education. Why would he be interested in something like this? But I guess every father has like some random hobby that they do. Somebody does woodworking, somebody fixes cars. My father actually does synthesizers, and he programs synthesizers and records them. But when I was 7, it was completely like, I didn't know why he was doing it. And this became his ritual, actually, because my father works as a mason. He actually works with stone, and he carves stone, and it's a really labor-intensive job. And so each day he came from work, like 9 to 10 hours of really hard, laborious work. And he started having dinner and going straight away to his computer and doing some stuff there. So this was like a religious devotion to this thing that nobody knew what he was doing. And this computer looked absolutely out of place in our Soviet apartment. Like, it was weird. And at the same time, I started attending musical classes. And I really liked Lisa Simpson. This was my dream, to play saxophone. But when I went to musical school, and I was 7, and it was heartbreaking. But I went there, and they told me that I have too short fingers and too small lungs to play saxophone, and I was heartbroken. It was awful. So they told me that I need to start first by playing piano. And I hated it vigorously. I absolutely hated it. I remember at least 3 or 4 instances where I actually made myself puke on the piano keyboard just to not go to the piano lesson. It was not convincing. My mom was not convinced, so I still went anyway, and it was brutal. So I have kind of traumatic relationship with piano. But the only musical instrument that did not made me want to puke was actually a guitar. And I found an old Soviet acoustic guitar in my house, which had only 4 nylon strings. And I was like, okay, I'll try this. So I actually started learning how to play guitar on my own, just for fun. And yeah, it was kind of sad. Now that I'm saying it, it feels kind of sad. But the thing is that while my father was at work and he was not doing anything on computer, I was absolutely free to use anything we had. And my father, by this point, when I was like 12 or 13, we actually gathered a lot of like MIDI keyboards and microphones and studio headphones. So we had this all at home. So while my father was at work, I started kind of sneaking up to computer and using it, and actually trying to record something myself. And I was like, why am I doing it? I've never actually dreamed of becoming a musician. Like, where would this come from? But still, each day, just as my father did after his work, I started coming home from school and recording something. And this started when I was 14 and never actually ended. So one day I came up to my father when I was like 15 or 16, so it has been going on for a couple of years. And I came up to him and he didn't know I was recording anything because he was not at home while I was doing it. And I was like, you know, Dad, I've been using your computer and your things. And he was like, okay. And I was like, could you please explain me, like, how do you use equalizer or compressor? And his eyes instantly lit up. He was very excited. I've never seen my father so excited to explain anything in my life. I guess this is an example of like positive mansplaining. But I guess lesson number 1 is that asking questions could make your emotionally estranged father a bit less emotionally estranged. And but by that I mean that just physically talking to other people who do the same thing that you do and are interested in the same things that you are interested in could actually be really beneficial. And I think we're kind of losing it, you know, this talking. My presentation is a bit frantic, I'm sorry. But when I was 14, an unfortunate thing happened, is that doctors found a tumor in my leg. It was like, it's now fine, it was fine, but I was at home for 1 year. I was not able to move. I was lying in bed, and my father and my parents, I guess, they set up a computer in a way that it was connected to a huge TV in my room. So I was laying down all of this time, and I was very bored. Like, I didn't know what to do. And it sounds like it's a teenage dream, you know, to be at home for 1 entire year and not do anything. But it was actually not pleasant at all. So I kind of learned what torrent was. And also, I downloaded Photoshop because I loved drawing. And so I started learning Photoshop. And for 1 entire year, I started drawing like shitty manga in Photoshop. But still, it was a year of, you know, learning all of the software and just getting to know computer even a bit more. So lesson number 2 is one of the best things that could happen to you is boredom plus time plus an itch to learn something. And I think it's in deficit right now. I think even if you have time, you will spend it on your phone. And it's such a luxury right now to have time and spend it on something like meaningful. But when I was 18, my parents told me that they could not support me financially. It was a hit in a face. So I thought to myself, well, the only advantage at this point at 18 that I have is that I actually know Photoshop. So I could start doing something in it for money. So I started doing Photoshop for money, and my first job that I found was a position of graphic designer in Platforma, which is a Ukrainian media news web thing. And the job was that I needed to illustrate articles every day they published a couple of articles, and I needed to illustrate them. So these are examples from like 2018. But still, I'm really proud of that because I've learned a lot while doing that. And I learned how to work with people, which is very important. But I guess the lesson is that you need to play with cards that you have. And I think this is kind of not a really good phrase to use now after this conversation between Trump and Zelensky about cards. But still, playing with cards that you have, meaning that in hard times you need to utilize everything you have. And one of my favorite quotes that I have, that I guide my life by, is that if you say that you don't know enough to start doing something, it's true. But if you say you do know enough to start doing something, it's also true. So you don't know enough, but you know enough to start. And this is very important, not to stop yourself like at the beginning by just saying that I don't know something. This is me in 2019 when I was actively looking for another job, and I stumbled upon this job application for, it said 3 things. It was a job application for a digital designer for esports. Do you know what esports is? Does anybody know here what esports is? Okay, a lot of people who play Counter-Strike, I guess. So it said 3 things. They needed a graphic designer for an esports something. You should also know motion, and you should also know After Effects. And at this point, I didn't know 3 things. First, what esports is. Second, what a graphic motion is. And third, what After Effects is. So, but I really needed a job. Again, it was kind of crucial for me to have a job at this point. So I was like, okay, I went for an interview and it went well, luckily. And then they asked me to complete a task for them, like a test task. And they asked me to do some kind of teaser for some competition or something like that. And it needed to be a video, a motion video. And I thought to myself, well, I'm kind of fucked. But it took me 5 days to actually learn After Effects, and I delivered the task, and they got me, and I got hired, and I worked there for 2 years after that. So I guess lesson number 4 is never underestimate how much you can learn in 1 week. In year 2020, me and my partner, we moved to Czech Republic to study. At this point, I thought to myself, okay, I've already worked in graphic design, but I don't know enough, and I want to know more. So we moved to Ostrava. And Ostrava is it's like an anomaly. Like, I really love Ostrava. It's such a weird and beautiful place. And it reminds me of my hometown, but still. Ostrava is like a really weird place. But for me, the most weirdest place in Ostrava was actually my atelier where I started studying, which was text forma funkce. And this is the atelier of graphic design. And I was really fortunate to go there because this is one of the best things that happened to me, that I was studying there under supervision of Justina Laur and Jiří Havlíček. And I was really lucky because they actually allowed me to do things that I wanted to do. And it turned out that I didn't want to do graphic design much. And for each and every task on this atelier that I've done there, I haven't actually done graphic design. I did music. And it was one of the most eye-opening things that happened to me is that I could actually do music and combine it with graphic design and motion design. So 2 of the things that I was interested in and that I liked could actually be combined. This is one thing that kind of appeared out of my time there which is a music video, my first one, which I did, I guess it was beginning of 2023, and it kind of coincided with, it was like first couple of months of war, and I was very devastated, and I went to Poland for a work, like something work related, but I took with me a handycam camera, and I shot this, and I did the music, and I presented it as one of my clausuras. Thank you very much, thank you. So this is 2022, and a year after that, I was doing my bachelor's degree in the same atelier, and because I was so lucky with the supervision that I had on this atelier, I was actually allowed for my bachelor's degree to create a music album, and by this point, I've gathered somewhere around 250 demos, which again were more like diary entries than completed tracks. And I was like, okay, I have all of this on my computer, but I don't have any of this music. Like, if my computer was, I don't know, destroyed, I would lose all of this. And so for my bachelor's degree, I actually wanted to take at least some part of this music and put it on some kind of physical thing. So what I did was I selected somewhere around 20 tracks out of this mess that I had. And I did a graphic, like a design for this cassette, and I actually recorded 20 tracks on it. And so in total, I've had like 10 really unique cassettes. And I also exhibited it with with a visualizer, like it was 20 minutes long and it was just one loop of video, and I will show it to you now. So this was a really abruptly cut first minute of this 20 minutes long loop. But I think that lesson I got from this is that you should always push your little interest into everything you do. Like, if you are a graphic designer and if you are interested in manga, for example, and you are doing some branding for, I don't know, a coffee shop, just try something else. Try pushing your idea into this, and maybe it can work out, maybe not. But still, it's so important to have fun while you are doing commissions, because as designers, I guess we are used to doing something and then putting it out there and giving it away to a person or a company that will use it for their own profit. So the fun that you have while doing it is one of the most important things that you can have. And while keeping this in mind, in 2022 or 2021, I've collaborated with, this is Kultura, which is a Ukrainian multidisciplinary design agency, and they're really cool. I really recommend you check them out. But they reached out and asked me to create a show reel for them. And show reels are really like an intimate thing, because when you are doing a show reel for somebody else, you are gathering all of their work and putting it in a way that for them feels good, which is really hard to do because only these people kind of know how they want it to look like, but they delegate this thing to you, so you need to be really careful. And while working on it, I was like, you know, guys, I can do that, but I actually also do music on the side. Do you want me to create music for that? Because it could be like interesting to me, and I won't ask for like more money for that. It's just, I would be really happy to do music for that as well. So what I ended up doing was I've gathered all of their material and I created a show reel with my music. And what you will see right now is none of this is my work, but music is mine, and the strich, the cutting is mine. This was also supposed to be a loop, but anyways, thank you. So lastly, last year I've entered DDT, which is an atelier of design and digital technologies here in Umbrum. And I would like to make a little advertisement for that atelier because I love it so much. And this is an atelier where we do interactive design, we do games, and a lot of different things, and everybody does something else, but then we come up in a group and we do amazing projects together. So if you are interested, I highly recommend you go to art semester in Umprum and look at what we are doing. But still, the day I got to this atelier, I started actively saying that, not saying that I'm a graphic designer or that I come from the graphic design world, but actually actively saying to people that if you need any sound, I'm here and I want to do it, and I will do it for free, or if you have money, I will do it for money, but I'm just here and I can do it, so please tell me when you want it. And so a couple of student projects came out. Again, none of this is made by me, but the music is made by me. So this, for example, was a small game that we did on a game jam last year, made by my dear classmates. And this is a game where you need to spread butter on bread while also killing cockroaches near you. This is what we did, and this is what we do sometimes on this atelier. So if you love games, then welcome. But this is the second thing we did last year, which was a huge mapping, how do you say it? Projection mapping project that we did in Ústí nad Labem on the building of culture, I guess. But it was a huge building, and we came up with the idea of creating a game which was projected on this building. And so I did music for this game. This is a small video, how it looked like. Again, nothing of this was programmed by me. I just made music, but I think the result was amazing because so many people came up and actually played the game and listened to the sound. And it was really important because the sound was really important because it's actually a rhythm game. And I hope you will see the details in this video. This was this game. Thank you. Thank you. And then another thing I wanted to show you was the teaser for last art semester exhibition here in Umprum, which is the semestral exhibition where people are showing their work in the building of Umprum. And me, Tuan, Jakub, and David here, we did this video. Again, I did music for it, but it was beautiful, 3 or 4, I don't remember, teasers. This is one of them. Now I come up to a more recent commercial thing that I did, and this is the thing that I did for Resistant AI, which is a company here in Prague, which does good AI that fights bad AI. It makes a product that that can scan for fraud in documents. And my dear friend Yulia Diketova, she asked me, also a former student of our atelier, she actually asked me to create a showcase of what this thing does, what their software does. And at first I was like, okay, I will do motion graphics for it. But when the question came about what music will we use, I was also like, you know what, I actually do music on site. Do you want me to do music for it? And they were like, yes, sure. And so I did this. Thank you. Thanks, Lad. And the last thing that I will show you is actually a project I did last year. And in our atelier, we got a task to do something with a motion capture costume. If anybody knows how motion capture works, it's a costume that you put on yourself and it generates data, and you can do anything with this data. And so for a long time, I was thinking about what thing I can do with it. And so this is a grandma. This is my partner's grandma in Ukraine. And she's an amazing person, and I love her so much. And she somehow finds energy to create these small knitted toys, and she sends them to us. And last year she sent us like 10 of these identical frogs for some reason, I don't know why. But we literally have like 10 of them. And so I was looking at it and kind of, finding hope in this little toy. I don't know, I loved it so much. And I thought about using it and animating it with motion capture costume. And this is how the raw data from a motion capture costume looks like. It's a lot of them overlap together. So this is just something that this costume generates. And while I was recording some movement with this motion capture costume, I realized that for some reason, I started like imitating, fighting myself. For some reason, I don't know why, but the first thing that came up to me was trying to fight myself. And so I came up with this idea that I want to make a music video with this frog where I'm fighting myself. And so these were like 3 very weird points that I wanted to connect. And so in the end, the result was that. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I guess lesson number 6 that I get from it is it kind of doubles what the big frog says in the video, is that sometimes in order to win a fight against yourself, you need to become something else. I don't know what you can take out of it, but I hope it was a bit beneficial for you and interesting. Thank you very much.